Today we're going to continue on practicing using Punnett squares through this assignment called Bikini Bottom Genetics. And so this is what the assignment looks like in Google Classroom. It says scientists at Bikini Bottoms have been investigating the genetic makeup of the organisms in this community. Use the information provided in your knowledge of genetics to answer each question. So for this first part here, you are given the genotype. Okay, so remember, these are genotypes. Letters indicate the genotype. And we're supposed to tell whether it is heterozygous, He, or homozygous, Ho. So if the letters are the same size, could be capital letter, or lowercase letter, then that's homozygous. If they are uppercase and a lowercase, then it's heterozygous. It's a hybrid, right? So big T, well, they're both capitalized, so that is homozygous, so I'm going to write ho. Okay, underneath it, big D, little d. Well, I have a capital letter and a lowercase letter, so that is heterozygous, and I'm going to write He. So you're going to do that for all of these. And then at the end, you're going to tell me which genotypes are purebred. So purebred means homozygous. The letters are the same, 100% that. So I would write like big T for sure. And I'd write all the others after I'd classified them. Which of the genotypes would be hybrids? Hybrids is a capital letter and a lowercase letter. Big D, little d. So that's for sure one. So that's the first part. Okay, second part, determine the phenotype for each genotype using the information provided about SpongeBob. Yellow body is dominant to blue. And we're going to use the letter Y here, it looks like. So if I'm big Y, well, capital letters mean dominant. So what's the dominant trait? Yellow. So I'm just going to write yellow. All right, big Y, little y. Well, if you have that capital letter, then you're going to be dominant, and that trait is yellow. Yellow. Okay, little y, two recessive letters. That means I'm going to have the recessive trait, so I'm going to write blue. Okay, so that's what that second part is, so you can do square on your own. Look at number 3. For each phenotype, give the genotypes that are possible for Patrick. A tall head, capital T, is dominant to short. So if I'm tall, that means I'm going to have the capital T for sure. And there's 2 genotypes for tall. You can be homozygous dominant, big T, or you could be heterozygous dominant, big T, little t. If you're short, that means both of your alleles have to have the recessive trait, little t, little t. Okay, so you can do pink versus yellow on your own. All right, the last one that we're going to do together is this one right here. SpongeBob SquarePants recently met Sponge Susie Roundpants at a dance. SpongeBob is heterozygous for his square shape, but Sponge Susie is round. Create a Punnett square to show the possibilities that would result if SpongeBob and Sponge Susie had children. Okay, so how do we break this down? Well, we are looking at square shape or round, right? So it says SpongeBob is heterozygous for the square shape. Well, you're probably wondering, what letter are we going to use? It says hint, read question 2. So I go to question 2. That one's talking about yellow body. Oh, square shape. All right, the one that you're supposed to do on your own. So square shape is dominant to round. Well, SpongeBob is square shaped, so he for sure has a capital S. And this word right here, heterozygous, means that he also carries the recessive allele. So he is big S, little s. So there's my big S, little s. Sponge Susie is round. She shows the recessive phenotype. So her genotype, the only way that she can be round is 2 little s's. Create a Punnett square to show the possibilities that would result if SpongeBob and Sponge Susie had children. Okay, so they give us this Punnett square, which is nice. And so with the Punnett square, you set one parent on top. So I'm going to put SpongeBob on top here. Big S, little s. And then I'm going to put Sponge Susie off to the side here. Little s, little s. Now when you do your letters, make sure that you can tell the difference between capitalized or lowercase. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. Okay, big S from the top, little s from the side. big S from the top, little s from the side. All right, little s from the top, little s from the side. Little s from the top, little s from the side. Okay, step A, list the possible genotypes and phenotypes for their children. So they want genotypes and phenotypes. So let's do genotypes, that's letters. What are the different letter combinations we have in our Punnett square? Well, let's just pick one, big S, little s. So I'm gonna write big S, little s. How many squares are big S, little s? We got 1, 2. So I'm going to say 2:4. 2 out of 4. And then I'm going to write the other genotypes. All right, I see little s, little s. Little s, little s. And it looks like it's also 2 out of 4. Okay, that's the genotypes. Now they also want phenotypes. So what is big S? If you have a big S, what shape body are you? You are square. So I'm going to write square. And then I'm going to count how many squares have a big S. All right, 1, 2. That's also 2 out of 4. And for round, so round, little s, 2 out of 4, right? Okay, so what are the chances of a child with a square shape? I probably just answered it above, but it's 2 out of 4, and that percent is 50%, right? Remember, it's like you got 2 quarters, so 50 cents. What are the chances of a child with round shape? 2 out of 4. So that's what this assignment is all about. You're using SpongeBob and his friends, and you're using the basics of genetics to figure out the outcomes.